Many manga today are no longer made for children to understand. The settings are too elaborate. Attack on Titan was just noise. Those are all quotes from Kazuhiko Toriyama, Dragon Ball's editor, who started a debate on my Instagram feed recently. Are anime catering towards adults too much these days is the question that caused this debate. And even though everyone seemed to totally shit on the guy for his opinion in the comment section, I think that people misunderstand that statement and the true meaning of it. Personally, I am an adult, and you who is watching this video right now, you're also probably an adult according to my channel statistics. So you have to watch this whole video with the awareness that we're all very much biased here. Because us, adults, are never gonna complain that anime are catering towards us. That's what we want. So of course the statement to us is gonna seem out of place or straight up stupid. But let's try seeing things with a broader perspective, shall we? The demographic of people who watch anime has changed a lot over the years. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, the predominant group who watched anime the most were kids, and shonen was the most popular type of anime. And I didn't know if the statistics would back me up on this one, so I went and looked up what group watches anime the most in modern days. And can you guess what the results were? Middle-aged dudes are the biggest anime watchers. Don't get me wrong, a lot of kids still watch anime, but many research and posts share the same conclusion that the demographic who watches anime the most changed from kids to adults. But why is that? It's hard to pinpoint the exact reason as to why this change occurred, but I can share my theories. I have 3 main ideas as to why adults watch more anime than kids nowadays. First of all, anime grew with its audience. The 1990s and early 2000s kids never really stopped watching anime, and their preferences just kept changing over time as they were growing, and since they were the main demographic, the industry just adapted to them over the years, which is why we went from kids shows like Naruto, Fairy Tail, One Piece, Dragon Ball to 35 isekai slots each season, because the kids who liked watching shonen back then all ate their jobs and they're all depressed and they want to get hit by a truck because life sucks. The second reason is a painful one to mention, especially with all that stuff about the antivirus going around or whatever the fuck, but COVID definitely had an impact and brought a lot of adults into the world of anime because everyone was bored out of their mind at home for 2 years. And streaming platforms such as Netflix and Amazon Prime also started pushing anime way more during that time, which made it more accessible to way more people. And the third reason, but not the least, is the internet. Because yes, the internet heavily normalized anime, which means that the closeted anime fans that used to get bullied in school and felt ashamed of liking quote-unquote kids show could finally assume their sins and come out of the closet. Whether you think it's a good thing or not, it's way easier nowadays in 2026 to find like-minded people and communities on the internet that share the same interest and make you feel like you belong somewhere and that you're not a deviant weirdo for liking your favorite show. Even I, as a regular Joe, remember being way less open about watching anime when I was younger than I am nowadays because people were way less open to those weird Japanese cartoons back then, and watching them automatically made you a weirdo. So those 3 reasons, among many others, created the current anime community that slowly went from naive kids watching shonen to adults watching Rent a Girlfriend. But enough talking about us adults, let's try to get into the new generation shoes for a minute here. The whole reason why I, baby Geemo, got into anime as a kid was because of one anime called Fairy Tail. We like to shit on Fairy Tail a lot in 2026, but this anime is the first anime of like 50% of the anime community, so it did its job pretty damn well attracting kids that would remain anime fans for a long time. Some of you probably also started with Naruto or Dragon Ball or One Piece or whatever, and there were many options of fun, children-friendly anime back then. But now, try to put yourself into the position of a 10 years old in 2026 who wants to get into anime. What do you even watch, man? Have the anime or fanservice isekai that try to appeal to horny, depressed middle-aged dudes, the other half is like seinen or violent shonens, and then 90% of the games about the animes that you may like are gacha trash and nothing seems to be for you. How do you get into it, really? The answer is you don't, and you go back to watching YouTube slop and tung 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 sahur versus tralalero tralala and skipping toilet slower videos on YouTube. Haha. But no, seriously, I don't really know any young kids, so maybe I'm just out of touch here. And obviously, not all modern anime are dark or made for adults. Shows like My Hero Academia or like Spy X Family still exist, and kids absolutely love them. But I still feel like the center of anime culture shifted towards adults compared to when I was younger, and that there are less entry-level shows for kids. But the real question is, what does this mean for the industry on the long term? I feel like what Kazuhiko Toriyama is trying to tell us is that kids won't get into anime if there is no options for them, and that on the long term it will be a detriment to the industry as a whole because new viewers won't replace us once we eventually stop watching anime. Even I, Geemo, the world famous anime YouTuber, as much as I love anime, I have to admit I don't watch as much of them as when I was a kid. After a day at work or school, I just don't feel like sitting in front of my TV, locking in and reading subtitles watching anime. I just open up Netflix and rot watching Shameless or Dr. House before going to sleep. Without the younger generation to keep anime alive, the industry would likely become smaller, older, and more reliant on nostalgia and safe sequels instead of new ideas. This would force the medium to stagnate, which would in turn kill all creativity and bring about the death of anime as we know it. A lot of us will eventually grow out of watching anime, and who's gonna be there to replace us? Will kids simply get into anime later in their lives, or will they simply never get into it because they will never experience the childhood magic of anime and this beautiful feeling of nostalgia? Will the media lose popularity over the years, or will it remain the same? So ultimately, I think that's what Kazuhiko Toriyama meant when he said that anime is catering towards adults too much. And no matter how much I disagree with him, I think his point still makes sense and doesn't deserve to be laughed at. It's easy for adults to say this take is stupid because we're benefiting from anime catering to us, and I'm never gonna be the one to complain that animes are too deep in adult theme, but is anime a media that's slowly dying because of a lack of new fans, or are children just fine watching the same anime we adults enjoy as well? So what's your opinion on this? Is it true that animes are catering towards adults too much with all the middle-aged men that hates his job isekai slop? Are anime too philosophical, gooner, or violent for kids to get into? Anyways, let me know if my opinions are ass and if yours is better cause you're the GOAT in the comment section. Anyways, bye bye!